Now, it's a simple fact that not everyone believes in the paranormal. I understand that, however history has consistently told us otherwise. Stories have emerged from cities, to castles, to prisons, to even people, of ghostly spirits and disembodied voices in places that will truly chill your bones. So whether you believe it or not, this is the top 5 real hauntings from around the world. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. Coming in at 5, the Tower of London. The Tower of London, officially Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress of the Tower of London, is a historic castle located on the north bank of the River Thames in central London. The tower itself was initially constructed by William the Conqueror in 1078, and in its 1,000-year history the tower has seen its fair share of murder and torture. Over the years the tower has had many purposes: armory, prison, torture and execution room, treasury, royal residence, public records office. However, currently it holds the title as one of the most haunted places in the world. The most famous ghost is that of Anne Boleyn, one of the wives of Henry VIII, who was ultimately beheaded in the tower in 1536. Her ghost has been spotted numerous times around the tower, sometimes even carrying her own head under her arm. Another famous apparition is that of the White Lady, whose aroma wafts around the haunted place, and even English monarch Henry VI. However, a more haunting story is that of the Countess of Salisbury, a tormented ghost who refused to put her head on the scaffold when she was set to be executed in 1541. So the executioner chased her around the grounds in order to strike her down, which is what some visitors have claimed to see reenacted when seeing her ghostly apparition. Horrible. In at 4, Edinburgh Castle. Located in the capital city of Scotland, Edinburgh Castle has reportedly had human occupation on the rock it's positioned on, Castle Rock, since at least the Iron Age, which is the 2nd century AD. How crazy is that? Now, the castle itself stands upon the plug of an extinct volcano, which is estimated to have risen about 350 million years ago during the Lower Carboniferous period, with the Castle Rock being the remains of a volcanic pipe. Now, the castle itself was constructed 900 years ago as a military fortress, and legend goes that it is one of the most haunted places not just in Scotland but in the entire world. Throughout its long history, the castle has been witness to attacks, executions and murders, which has in turn led to the numerous ghost stories. Some visitors to the castle have claimed to have witnessed apparitions, including Lady Janet Douglas of Glamis, who was burned at the stakes for witchcraft, and Duke Alexander Stewart of Albany, who stabbed his guards to death and then burned their bodies. Now, while that may be creepy enough, there is more, including unnamed apparitions like a phantom piper who got lost in the castle's underground passages, a headless drummer, and even colonial prisoners from the American Revolutionary War. In 2001, a paranormal investigation even took place with 200 members of the public investigating the hidden chambers and passageways in the castle for evidence of ghosts. In at 3, the Stanley Hotel, Colorado. Now, most of you will be familiar with this hotel simply because it was the inspiration behind the best-selling novel The Shining. The hotel is located in Colorado and was built by Freeland Oscar Stanley and opened on July 4th, 1909. Now, not only did it serve as the inspiration for the Overlook Hotel, but was also the filming location for the 1997 TV miniseries, also written by King. For a long period of time, all was well at the hotel up until the publication of The Shining, which gained the Stanley Hotel a reputation as a setting for paranormal activity. However, let's go back. In 1911, a housekeeper lit a candle in a room that had a gas leak, causing an explosion that destroyed a large majority of the hotel. Now, surprisingly, the woman lived. Now, guests have claimed her spirit has unpacked their bags, even done the sheets around them while they have been sleeping. Other guests have also reported hearing piano music with no player, or children's footsteps on the floor that was once a child daycare. Jumping forward to 2017, a man on a ghost tour supposedly captured 2 little girls on film despite there being no one around. Check it out. In at number 2, the Forbidden City, China. The Forbidden City is a palace complex in central Beijing that houses the Palace Museum and was the former Chinese imperial palace from the Ming Dynasty to the Qing Dynasty. It served as a home of emperors and was the ceremonial and political center for almost 500 years. Now, the palace itself is made up of 980 buildings on 180 acres of land, which is insane. Many true ghost stories have also come from within the city, spooky enough to deter any locals away. It is highly believed that the Forbidden City is haunted by the ghosts of the concubines. In 1421, Emperor Yongle ordered nearly 3,000 ladies in waiting associated with his harem to be slaughtered because he believed that a beloved concubine had been poisoned. He spared some, but on the day of his funeral, 16 courtesans were hung with nooses of white silk. Now, many who have visited the Forbidden City have reported seeing a lady with black hair running from a ghostly soldier. Hear sounds of screaming, weeping, and sword fighting. Not just that, but many have seen specters of dead bodies, pools of blood, and pieces of white silk. As of right now, the Forbidden City is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is open to the public. And finally, coming in at number 1, Eastern State Penitentiary. The Eastern State Penitentiary, also known as ESP, is a former prison located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and was operational between the years of 1829 up until 1971. The prison housed notorious criminals such as Al Capone and bank robber Willie Sutton, as well as James Bruno, who was alleged to have partaken in the Claris Massacre of 1934. Now, what makes this prison so unique is that it was the very first prison to institute solitary confinement, which ultimately led to insanity. However, it gets worse. Prisoners were also left wet in the cold until ice would form on their bodies, or even given an iron gag that made their tongues bleed. The guards and counselors over the years designed a variety of physical and psychological torture regimens for various infractions, including, like I said, dousing prisoners in freezing water outside in the winter months, as well as chaining their tongues to their wrists in a fashion such that struggling against the chains would cause their tongues to tear. They were also known to put the worst behaved prisoners into a pit called the Hole, an underground cell block dug under cell block 14, where they would have no light, no human contact, and little food for as long as 2 weeks. Now, here's where things get really spooky. In the 1900s, a locksmith was helping restore his cell when he says a negative energy overcame him and left him temporarily paralyzed before he saw visions of faces appear on the walls. Since then, countless ghost stories have appeared, with visitors reporting whispers in the walls and eerie giggles. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any real hauntings that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scariest mythological monsters from the 7 seas. Narek said, since we never see if Lucy has legs, I assume she could be a siren too. Can confirm I am a siren and I have no legs. Hot Pepper said Lucy is the scariest teacher of all time. You better believe it. I love to be fed. Super Rockstar said Lucy is the best host ever. Suck up, but thank you. Maggie McGonnell said one of these days I'll have a comment of mine read by Lucy. Well done, you succeeded. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.